What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome into episode number 825 of Underground Sports Philadelphia, presented by the city of Vineland. It's your boy KB coming at you solo dolo. Off the rip, want to apologize for the delay in the episode getting uploaded. I don't know if you guys can tell, but we have a brand new light in the studio that required a little bit of attention. I'm liking the way it's looking right now as I'm recording. Hopefully it translates when the actual video comes out for this episode. But brand new light in the studio that required some construction and some maneuvering and just making sure that things looked as pristine as possible. And that is why we are delayed. Studio got a little cluttered. The boxes that were delivered were huge, but I'm loving the way that it looks right now, and I'm hoping as, time goes on, we get more lighting updates and hopefully a camera update at some point. But I'm loving the new light, so hopefully you guys can tell the difference. I'm going to try to do a side-by-side as a social post of, here's the episode before the lighting update, here's the episode after we updated the lights, but very, very excited for the way things will hopefully be looking moving forward here on the show. Got a fun one. We're going to be talking Andrew Painter. We're going to be talking Philadelphia Eagles with another coaching hire. We're going to talk a little bit of the Sixers game against the Celtics. The Flyers made a trade. And Johan Rojas we'll also be talking about because good golly me. Before we get into everything, make sure you guys are following us on the socials at Underground PHI across the board. We're on every social platform. It really helps when you follow the show. I know we've been a little off lately with getting stuff up. It's just been a wildly busy time these past couple of days. It is like an 11-day whirlwind for me upcoming here. So I appreciate the patience. We're working on getting some things situated. We have a couple posts that are backdated that still have to get up. It's a lot for an operation for one person here on this show in particular. So thank you for your patience. But follow us at Underground PHI. Subscribe to the podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Leave us a 5-star rating and review. It goes a long way for helping this show continue to grow. It goes a long way for helping all of our shows here at Underground Industries continue to grow. But in particular, when you subscribe, share, review this show with 5 stars, this is our flagship, so it really helps the show continue to grow. And of course, guys, please subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. Leave a like on the video, drop a comment in the comment section, and click that bell icon so you know whenever new videos go live. We're at 1,255 subscribers. Let's get to 1,300 before March Madness kicks off because we are oh so close to the madness. We're 12 days from Selection Sunday. Excuse me. I just got acid reflux, thinking we're 12 days from Selection Sunday. That's nuts. But yeah, it is a big help when you subscribe to the YouTube channel. And as you all know, this show is proudly presented by the City of Vineland, and the City of Vineland Municipal Calendar features city-organized, city-sponsored, and city-affiliated events that are of public interest. The calendar, which is accessible at vinelandcity.org, is a good way for residents and visitors to build awareness, remain engaged with city government, and participate in local events. You can also follow the City of Vineland on social media via their Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube pages. And through these tools, you can stay connected to the community and get important announcements about programs and services offered by the city. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. A big thank you to Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated for their continued support of this podcast.
Hello, I'm Mayor Anthony Fanucci. Violin, New Jersey offers both a great business location and an outstanding quality of life. But don't just take my word for it, the experts agree. We're proud to be recognized as a premier food processing and logistics hub, one of New Jersey's most affordable and desirable cities, and one of the best places to retire in the country. Visit violincity.org and see how our resources can work for you. Violin, New Jersey, where it's always growing season.
All right, folks, we're going to start hot. It's spring training. It's Phil's season, and it feels like we haven't had many juicy headlines, per se, outside of the Bryce Harper versus Dave Dombrowski drama, outside of a WIP radio host getting torched for a report. That is a key thing to remember in all of this, everyone. There's a difference between reporters, podcasters, radio hosts, etc. Just because someone reports something does not inherently make them a reporter. Okay? That is a key thing to remember in this world of media. Just because somebody reports something, one, does not mean it's true. Two, does not mean that they are a reporter. So take that for what you will. But the Philadelphia Phillies, Andrew Painter pitched on Sunday, his spring debut. 2 perfect innings for young, big hoss Andrew Painter. I think this is everything and then some that you could have asked for Andrew Painter. Like, obviously, he was not going to go a full game. That's not what spring training is all about. He's coming off Tommy John. He's coming off of, a rocky, for all intents and purposes, time at AAA last year. 2 perfect innings against the New York Yankees. JT was the catcher. He delivered a lot of weak contact. And last year at AAA, Andrew Painter was having command issues. If we harken back and remember, because we all thought at some point Andrew Painter was going to be on the Phillies last year, towards middle of July, right around the trade deadline, whatever. We thought Andrew Painter was going to join the rotation. That did not happen, especially after Zach Wheeler's thoracic outlet blood clot. We thought, Andrew Painter will be up, and it just did not materialize that way. So to see the fact that he's coming in with, good spirits first and foremost, but he's coming in, he's hitting the zone, 2 perfect innings. He threw just 20 pitches in 2 innings of work. That's amazing, and 14 were strikes. Fastball hit 97. I will take that. I will take that. He used 4 different pitches: curveball, 4-seamer, changeup, slider, when he struck out Jason Dominguez in the top of the first. The final slider he threw was also in the zone. So that's if he's hitting the zone with a slider and, catching guys off guard, that's incredible. I'm, we talked about Justin Crawford a couple episodes ago, and now with what we saw from Andrew Painter, and again, I get this is one start. This is not like the end-all, be-all. This is not put it, stamp it, Rookie of the Year, Andrew Painter's going to win the Cy Young. That's not what I'm saying here. But what I am saying is I feel really good about the two prospects for the Philadelphia Phillies that we have seen in spring training so far, much more so than I felt, say, 2 weeks ago without having seen anything. The fact that Andrew Painter and Justin Crawford look the part, I think is such a huge development for this Philadelphia Phillies team, because with those guys looking the part, it gives you a lot less stress about things that the Phillies did not address this offseason. Not going and getting another starting pitcher while Zach Wheeler is still recovering. Not going and getting another outfielder, to kind of be a platoon type with Adolis Garcia, with Brandon Marsh. It gives the lineup flexibility. It gives you confidence in the pitching depth from the rotation perspective of things. And when you're looking at a rotation that if Andrew Painter, I'm not saying he's going to go out and pitch a perfect game every start. No, that's not what I'm saying. But when you can rely on Andrew Painter to go 5 or 6 innings of, say, 4 or 5 hits, a run or two, this offense is good enough. Like, let's not get that twisted either. The Phillies offense is good enough to win a game where Andrew Painter surrenders 2 or 3 runs. That should never be an issue for this Phillies offense. Scoring runs should still be something that is in their wheelhouse of doing quite regularly. There should be very few games where the Phillies get shut out or only score 1 run on the year. You look at the lineup from Turner to Schwarber to Harper to Alec Boehm. Bryson Stott is having a breakout spring right now, which, if that translates to this season, so help me God, I'm gonna be insufferable with a lot of the slander that Stotty was catching, because if Bryson Stott's playing Gold Glove second base and finally hitting that clip of being a 280 hitter and driving the ball, woo-wee, Sierra, I'm going to be pumped. And then, you put in Adolis Garcia, Alec Boehm, like I said, JT Realmuto, Brandon Marsh, Justin Crawford, the way he's hitting the ball. This offense is going to score runs. That should not be an issue. And if Andrew Painter's going to pitch this way, you look at the rotation before Wheeler returns of Sanchez, Luzardo, Nola, and Painter, and then Taijuan Walker in the mix. I don't believe I'm forgetting anybody. I believe that is the current depth chart. Yeah, and then Wheeler will come back, hopefully end of April, early May, and it'll be Wheeler, Sanchez, Luzardo, Nola, Andrew Painter. That's pretty fun, or however you want to split it up. You go Wheeler, Sanchez, Nola, Luzardo, Painter. If you want to split up the lefties, there's a lot that this rotation is going to do when they're fully healthy. And you'll have Taijuan Walker in the mix, which, where would the Phillies have been in 2025 without Taijuan Walker? That is something I don't want to think about, because he was a big-time piece to that rotation, to the bullpen last year, and helping that team accomplish a lot of what they accomplished. But Andrew Painter looks like the real deal. That's exciting. That is the thing, too, with this Phillies team. I know that we are jaded because of the postseason shortcomings since losing the World Series. We should be getting excited about a lot of aspects of this team, though. And I know I've also been, pulling my hair out about this team and what they didn't do this offseason. But, you have Christopher Sanchez coming off of a Cy Young performance, and he probably should have won the Cy Young. You have Jesus Luzardo, who is going to be, if he continues to pitch the way he does, a Cy Young caliber pitcher. You have a full season of Johan Duran. You're bringing Brad Keller into the mix. Jose Alvarado is back. You're bringing Andrew Painter into this rotation. We're finally going to see some Phillies prospects make it to the big leagues. I think Painter and Crawford are going to be the first Phillies prospects to make the team or play for the team, really, since Bryson Stott got called up and Orion Kirkring. Don't fact check me. And I know Johan Rojas was in AA when he was called up, but he was very fast track, but so is Kirkring. But from a prospect perspective, I think it's been since Bryson Stott and Alec Bowman 2020. When it comes to having Justin Crawford around and what this lineup can be capable of, there is a lot to be excited about when it comes to the Phillies. And I know we're in this doldrums of spring training. By the time you guys are listening to this, we're 23 days away from opening day. That's exciting. Thinking about being at Citizens Bank Park, middle of the week in June, middle of the week in July, the All-Star break. Not that I want to rush the season, but there's a lot to look forward to with this Phillies team, and I know they got to get it done in the postseason, 100%. That is a no questions asked, type of situation. I totally agree there. But a baseball season's so long that if you're just trying to fast forward to the postseason, you're not going. Baseball is the ultimate stop and smell the roses sport. And if you don't stop and smell the roses in baseball, life just runs you by. You can't experience what October baseball will be unless you just enjoy the ride of going through, Wednesday night at 6:40 in April, and a Tuesday after, early evening game in June, and a Thursday at 1:05 in August. There's so much joy and nuance to a baseball season that if you don't stop and smell the roses just a couple of times, you're really doing a disservice to your baseball fandom. And while, like I said, the Phillies got to get it done in the postseason, this season in particular is going to be such a fun season for Philadelphia baseball and the Philadelphia Phillies, not only with the team that we have, not only with the excitement about, two young prospects finally cracking the roster, but also the All-Star weekend. Philadelphia is going to be the epicenter of baseball for an entire week. That's exciting. That's fun to me. To know that our city gets to put on a show for the entire world of Major League Baseball for an entire week. From the home run derby to the celebrity softball game to the futures game to the pomp and circumstance fanfare that All-Star Weekend brings to obviously the All-Star Game, which we already know Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber are going to be in the home run derby. We already know that they're going to be participating in the All-Star Game. There's no way those guys are missing All-Star Weekend in Philadelphia. It's a matter of who else is going to join them. Christopher Sanchez, Jesus Luzardo. Will we get an Andrew Painter All-Star nod? Will we get a Justin Crawford All-Star nod? Does Bryson Stott get the nod to be an All-Star? There's so much to be excited. I mean, think about this. I want you all to close your eyes. This idea just came into my head. Future Kyle, clip this. I want you to think All-Star Weekend, All-Star Game. Okay? National League is winning. We're going to the top of the ninth at Citizens Bank Park. You just hear that Undertaker bell toll, and the screens say, take your phones out to participate. And then you just hear, Atención Timoso! And all-star closer, Johan Duran, runs out of his home bullpen to the fanfare and the just beauty of his walkout to come close the All-Star game at Citizens Bank Park. You're telling me that doesn't give you goosebumps? To have the best closer on the planet, I don't care what you say, he is, close out the All-Star game in his home park with his home entrance music on in front of thousands and thousands of fans. That's that. This is why we play. This is why sports are a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. So as we sit here, I'm recording this on March 2nd. You guys are probably hearing this on March 3rd. That's why I said we're 23 days out from opening day. I'm excited. The excitement is hitting me. My season tickets dropped in my app. I got tickets for opening day, opening night. I'm planning other games that I'm going to throughout the year, other theme nights. I'm looking at giveaways. And I was starting to feel the excitement there, but just thinking about the environment of what Citizens Bank Park is going to be this year with the All-Star fanfare, with this team. We're going to have guys coming off of a WBC, and hopefully, Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber are able to bring it home, and Brad Keller, obviously, in that bullpen, are able to bring it home for Team USA. Or at least a country that has a Philadelphia Philly on it walks away victorious and brings the WBC gold into that Phillies clubhouse. And is like, hey, boys, this is what it's like to win. Now it's our turn. That's exciting to think about. And can you imagine if it's Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber and Brad Keller walking back into that clubhouse after the WBC and Team USA is victorious? Your face of your franchise and arguably your captain. Hey, boys, got it done. Now we're up. We're next. That's a motivator, right? To me, that's a motivator. But speaking of the WBC, Johan Rojas. Man, oh man. Johan Rojas was going to be playing for the Dominican Republic. And he is no longer on the Dominican Republic team, which is crazy in and of itself. Nelson Cruz talked about the situation. He is one of the coaches, if not the manager, for the Dominican Republic. Or no, he's not the manager. Albert Pujols is. Nelson Cruz is part of the team, though. I want to pull up our good pal Phil's tailgate because he has been all over this. Here we go. Nelson Cruz said that the reason Johan Rojas was removed from the Dominican Republic World Baseball Classic roster was due to, quote, personal matters, which Rojas will be able to speak about in the coming days. There is a report that Johan Rojas was popped for PEDs. Wilbur Sanchez at Wilbur Data tweeted on the evening of March 1st at 10:38 p.m. Source: Johan Rojas test positive for banned substance. Dominican outfielder Johan Rojas of the Philadelphia Phillies has tested positive for a performance-enhancing substance and will not be eligible to participate in the 2026 WBC, World Baseball Classic. Just shortened it there. The suspension rules him out of the international tournament and also affects his battle for an outfield spot during the team's spring training. Phil's tailgate quote tweeted and said, if Rojas tested positive for a banned substance in MLB, we would probably already know. This makes me think that he tested positive for marijuana, which is banned for the WBC but not for MLB, to which Wilber Sanchez followed up and said, I wish it were, but no, I wish it were, and he put the maple leaf weed. But no, it isn't. In the next few hours, MLB will make it official. Remember, there's protocol. There's a protocol. And Phil's tailgate said, scratch the marijuana theory. If Rojas is suspended, he will be the third member of the 2025 Phillies who tested positive for PEDs. It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, the fact that Johan Rojas, it's wild. Tested positive for PD. There's still nothing, as I'm recording this, that I've seen updated for Johan Rojas. It makes my Brian De La Cruz agenda look great, but I didn't want it to be this way. When it comes to Johan Rojas, he is a fan favorite in terms of like cult player. And what I mean by cult players, people gravitate towards him because he's very fast. He's an incredible defensive outfielder. But Johan Rojas cannot hit to save his life in Major League Baseball. We've seen him play in the Dominican Winter League. We've seen him play at AAA. We've seen him play at AA. And when he comes to the majors, it's just his bat speed is not there. And I like Johan Rojas. I want him to succeed, obviously, because he's on the Phillies. But you also have to recognize that, he was so fast-tracked in 2023 that he didn't get a real chance to develop down in AA. Johan Rojas is... Where's my guy at? He's 25. He got called up to the Phillies in 2023 on July 14th, prior to his 22nd birthday. He was 21 and he turned 22 during the season. In 2024, Rojas batted .243. And that's not going to get it done. When you look at what he did in 76 games at AA in Reading in 2022, or at the beginning of 2023, he was hitting .306 when he got called up. He had 9 home runs, 45 RBI, 30 stolen bases. That looked like a 5-tool player. And then it never really clicked. In that post, honeymoon run of him getting called up, and that's why he had to go down to the minors, guys. That's why he had to go back to AAA and figure out how to hit, because he never got a real chance to truly develop the bat speed. And when he got called up to the big leagues, you could tell there was, deficiencies in his bat at the major league level. And I want to see Johan Rojas succeed. But now you throw this wrench in there that there's an alleged PED suspension, and it's allegedly not marijuana, because that's not a PED whatsoever. But if it is not marijuana, and he is suspended this year for any amount of time, that throws a wrench in his development even more. And it just makes you, like, wonder. And this goes back to my theory I brought up when Jose Alvarado got suspended last year. We talked about it with intern Jacob. Because we went through the entire list of players who have recently been suspended by Major League Baseball for PEDs or banned substances. And a large majority of that list were Latin players. To me, that's a communication issue in a lot of instances where who is not communicating to these players like, hey, you can't take this. Because to me, if I'm a player, and I'm not saying every player is, gold star, type of person. But if I'm a player and I'm taking a substance and I know it's not for any performance enhancing situations, I'm gonna assume it's fine, but I'm gonna double and triple check with people that are in the know and be like, hey, can I take this? Am I in the clear? Is this going to get me a positive test? Somewhere along the line, to me, I feel like there's such a communication inhibitor from either teams, Major League Baseball's front office, from Major League Baseball's front office to teams to players, and then Major League Baseball front office to players. Because it's crazy to me that a majority of the suspensions for PEDs have been from Latin American players or players of Latino descent. Some doesn't add up to me. But Johan Rojas being suspended is not great. It certainly puts a wrench in what the Phillies are going to be able to do with this outfield battle and what, things will look like from that perspective. But at the end of the day, they've got to really just hunker down and recognize, okay, maybe we don't have Johan Rojas for a certain amount of time this year. What does that look like for us? Does Brian De La Cruz win that job? Does looking at the depth chart here of just the outfield, let's go to actually the active. Is it going to be, does Rincones Jr. get healthy enough in time to make this team? Is it going to be Brian De La Cruz? Is it going to be, somebody like Dylan Campbell or Dylan Moore making the team now as a bench bat? It's a bummer for sure. Because if you looked at what this outfield or, bench really could have looked like, you're looking at a potential bench of Otto Kemp, Edmundo Sosa, one of Marshawn Stubbs, and then it's been Rincones Jr., Johan Rojas, and obviously, Justin Crawford's going to make this roster, so somebody's going to be removed from the 40-man. Pedro Leon is still on the team. You look at the way that things could have shaken out. Johan Rojas had a real clear-cut chance to be an end-of-the-bench bat for this team, and now until we find out more, that's very much in question. And to me, that's not ideal. Obviously, I don't think that's ideal for anybody involved in this situation, but hopefully we'll find out more in the next couple of days with Johan Rojas and what the situation is and why he's being suspended and or why he's out of the World Baseball Classic and what this alleged PED is. Does it affect his Major League Baseball status? It's a weird situation to have happen in spring training, and it's not a good look for Johan Rojas if it is a PED. It's not a good look for, just a number of people. It's just such an avoidable thing. But until we find out more, we can't really deduce things one way or another. But it is a bummer, and I think this is a huge benefit for somebody like Brian De La Cruz. This is a huge benefit for Gabriel Rincones Jr. One of those two guys I think are going to end up making the team. It's just a matter of who is it. And I think right now Brian De La Cruz kind of has that inside track because Rincones Jr. has been injured. So that's a huge come up for Brian De La Cruz. But we'll see. We shall see. Phillies-wise, though, upcoming spring training, the WBC players reported to WBC camp. So Harper and Schwarber with Team USA, Brad Keller's with Team USA, Mundo Sosa's with Team Panama, Christopher Sanchez with Dominican Republic, Stubbs is with Israel. Am I forgetting anybody else? And Mundo Sosa's with Panama. So we'll see. Dante Nori is now with Italy. Aaron Nola is with Italy. So a lot of opportunities for some guys that are looking to make roster spots or, kind of make some noise to be like, hey, keep me in the organization. You never know when you're going to need me. The Phillies will play on Tuesday against Tampa Bay. And then they have action against the Red Sox on Thursday against Rangers. Suarez. The reunion videos are going to crush me. Pirates on Friday. Blue Jays on Saturday. Twins on Sunday. Red Sox again on Monday. Yankees on Tuesday, the 10th. Blue Jays on the 12th. Orioles on the 13th. I'm just trying to scroll forward to March 26th. Very interesting that opening day is at 4:15 this year, too, by the way. I don't know what the decision-making process was there. But yeah, that's an interesting one. Because normally it's a 3:05 on opening day. And this year's at 4:15. Opening night's at 4:05. Opening night at 4:05 p.m. And then obviously the Sunday game is at 1:35. I'm going to be at all three. If you're going to be at the opening series, let your boy know. I will be at all three games. Where am I sitting for these games? That is a great question. Let's find out, chat. Let's find out, everybody. Obviously, you know where I'm sitting. Sundays, we're sitting in the season tickies. But on Thursday, I will be sitting up in the 400 level. Saturday, I'll be in a section over from my season ticket section in the 300s. So I'm pumped. I'm juiced. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a blast of a time. I'm also pumped because I was looking at my season tickets, and I've got multiple Sunday night baseball games this year. One in April against the Braves. Father's Day is Sunday night baseball this year against the Mets. And then I've got Yankees-Phillies Sunday night baseball as well. That's exciting, man. I'm pumped about that. That's an exciting Sunday night baseball slate. Braves, Mets, Yankees. Signed up. You don't got to sign me up because I already am signed up. But yeah, I'm pumped. Philly season's on the horizon. I'm excited for it. And you already know where I'm going, guys. Let's talk about our friends at 47. I'm rocking the Diamond Cut Hitch throwback Kelly Green Eagles right now with my Water Dogs jersey. Shout out Kira McCardle. But I'm always rocking 47 when I'm down at the ballpark because 47 are the leaders in the apparel game for your favorite sports teams. Whether it's NFL, MLB, NHL, NBA, WNBA, minor league baseball, soccer, NASCAR, 47 is in your corner to make sure you look your best while representing your favorite team. Use our link in the description, shop with 47, and get free shipping on all orders when you join the 47 family. That's their version of a rewards program. You earn points for every purchase you make, and then that goes towards free gear, because when it's free, it's for me, okay? Don't get that twisted. I'm on 47's website every day just looking at new styles. There's a hat that I have on my radar right now, the brand new frame out collection. I need to grab those. There's so many gorgeous hats from 47 that I need to grab and add to my repertoire, because they're the best in the game. So use our link in the description, shop with 47, and get free shipping on all orders when you join the 47 family. And we thank 47 for being a proud partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia and the official, unofficial headwear partner of Underground Industries. Let's go to the gridiron, ladies and gentlemen. The Philadelphia Eagles have made a new coaching staff hire. They have brought on former Texans quarterback coach Jerrod Johnson. He interviewed for the offensive coordinator job not too long ago. And this is the second time that the Eagles have brought in one of the offensive coordinator candidates who did not end up getting that job, because earlier this offseason they hired Josh Grizzard from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They now hire former Texans QB coach Jerrod Johnson to their staff. No official title known yet. The Texans and Johnson parted ways earlier, like this week, like not too long ago. So that he could seek other opportunities. And Jerrod Johnson's been in the mix for the Eagles' offensive coordinator job for a while. So the fact that he's in the organization now is pretty fascinating. He interviewed for the vacancy in 2024 before the Eagles hired Kellen Moore. He interviewed twice this offseason, and he spent the last 3 years as the Texans QB coach. I'm pretty sure... Yeah, in 2011, he was with the Eagles in training camp because he went undrafted out of Texas A&M. So in summer of 2011, he was with the Eagles as a player. So now he comes home full circle. He also spent time with the Steelers, Seahawks, Bears, Ravens, and Cowboys through 2016, but he never played in a regular season game. He was on a Mike Shanahan staff with the 49ers in 2017 as well, with Jeff Hafley, Mike LaFleur, Mike McDaniel, D'Amico Ryans, Rich Scangarello, and Bobby Slowick. I like this hire. You know, it's one of those things that does it all come down on Jerrod Johnson for C.J. Stroud's shortcomings? No. Is he part of it? Maybe. And I think you kind of have to lean yes. You know, you look at C.J. Stroud, and he has wildly regressed in performance and development over the past 3 years, and Jerrod Johnson was his quarterback for the last 3 years. Quarterback coach, excuse me. So you have to kind of weigh that in the equation just a smidge. But I like this hire from what the Eagles are doing constructing this offensive coaching staff. It's Sean Mannion, but then you have Josh Grizzard underneath of him as the pass game coordinator. You now have Jerrod Johnson in the mix. Those are three guys you interviewed / hired for the offensive coordinator job that you ended up hiring anyway. That doesn't happen all that often. You know, don't quote me there, but I feel like when someone interviews for a high-profile job like offensive coordinator and they don't get it, more often than not, they're not going to that organization in another role. That doesn't feel like commonplace to me, especially in today's NFL when everyone's obviously trying to climb the ladder. So the fact that the Eagles got 3 of their offensive coordinator candidates, one of them taking the OC job, and the other 2 are now on his staff, I like that world building. And the way things are building out, if Sean Mannion ends up getting a head coaching job because he does a great job, with Jalen and this offense, Josh Grizzard's right there to supplant. Jerrod Johnson's right there to supplant if need be. But even if not need be, you now have all of these collection of offensive minds that Nick Sirianni and Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman all liked enough to interview not once but twice for the offensive coordinator job this offseason in your coaching in your coaching rooms. You have 3 guys that you interviewed twice for an offensive coordinator position in your building. To me, that is a huge come up. That is a huge underlying off-season story that I think once training camp and everything rolls around, we won't talk about nearly as much. But I think that's so important. The fact that we now have 3 guys that we deemed worthy of the offensive coordinator job in the building for the Philadelphia Eagles. You're going to have so much of a collaborative effort with creating and constructing this offense. It really gets me excited for what the Eagles offense is going to look like. You have a former quarterback coach, multiple former quarterback coaches, quite honestly. I think that's huge for just the next step for Jalen Hurts. You guys know, I'm a Jalen ride or die. That's my Super Bowl MVP. That's my franchise quarterback. If he can take just any step forward from what we have seen and just continue to progress and get better, that's a dub in my book. So welcome to Philadelphia, Jerrod Johnson, or welcome back to Philadelphia, Jerrod Johnson, and we'll see what happens. But the way that the Eagles are constructing this offensive coaching staff, let me just be the first to say, and I'm not saying I'm the first, but let me just be the first to say here at this company, me likey. I like it a lot. I like it Picasso, because it means you are investing coaching resources in the side of the ball that's getting paid the most money. Seems like a winning situation and a winning formula to me, dog. I love it. 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 Some fun Eagles talk there. Since we last talked about the Sixers, Tyrese Maxey broke the franchise record for 3-pointers, which is crazy, in 6 seasons. The speech Joel Embiid gave in the locker room after was very, very heartwarming and really sweet, quite frankly. It was very sweet what Joel said to Tyrese. He said, "Don't let anybody ever catch you again." It's one of those things that, Joel was brought here as the superstar and has been here for Maxey's entire career and has watched him grow and blossom and develop into being not only a current superstar, but a superstar for years to come, and I think Joel recognizes will be here after his playing days are over. So the fact that Joel, and Tyrese have that relationship, and it was very cool to see, and I'm super proud of Tyrese, to come here and be a guy that was leaned on for multiple reasons. multiple reasons. Really grow and turn into the superstar we all thought he could. Thank you, Mike Muscala. But yeah, very awesome for Tyrese. What wasn't awesome was the Sixers losing to the Celtics. They could have won the season series with this win. They lose 114-98. Maxey had 33 points and 6 assists. VJ had 23 and 5. And the Celtics center, Nemas Queta, career high 27 points and 17 rebounds. Jaylen Brown, 27 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. Joel Embiid was out for this one. He has a right oblique strain, which is not great. He's also missing the back-to-back Tuesday and Wednesday, so he'll be missing Tuesday's game against the Spurs and Wednesday against the Jazz. This was a winnable game. A winnable game. And they just squandered it. And when you look at where the Sixers are right now, they're 6th in the East still. 33 and 27. This would have been a huge win for them to go out and just continue to build a little more goodwill for this team with where things are currently. And they kind of squandered it to a degree. It's a bummer that you couldn't win the season series over the Celtics. Things were looking so good that I was like getting ready to, when we were recording this before the construction happened, like, man, it feels good to beat the Celtics. It feels good to get a W over that team. And the fact that you squandered the game and kind of just proved where you are right now in the pecking order of the Eastern Conference was a bit of a bummer. And it was a game where you went above and beyond your weight class without your superstar center for most of the game. And you let it slip away. And it was that second quarter. The Celtics put up 36 points to your 22. And then the fourth quarter, they just absolutely bullied you. 25 points to 15 points. You can't go NBA games with stretches like that. It is just not a winning formula whatsoever. And the Sixers paid the price for it. They paid the price for it. And it's a bummer. It's also funny that, Campaign is on this team, and he's basically playing the same amount of minutes Jared McCain was. It's just a disaster. It is a disaster from a number of overwhelming proportions. It sucks. It sucks big time. I just wish they were a better team. Maybe one day we'll see a better team with the Sixers, but right now is unfortunately not that time. Unfortunately, not that time. A little bit of Flyers news. They won tonight on Monday in overtime against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Michkov and Zegras score in the shootout. I'm sure Rick Tocchet was loving that. But the Flyers news that I wanted to talk about here, they made a trade for Boris Katchouk. He played 3 games for Tampa Bay this season and 38 games in 2021-2022. He's 27 years old. The Flyers sent Roman Schmidt to Minnesota. Katchouk coming from the Wild. Schmidt was acquired by the Flyers in December, but the 23-year-old defenseman never played for the big club. Katchouk will report to the Phantoms, and he's got 179 games of NHL experience under his belt between 3 teams. He played 3 games with the Lightning this season before he got traded to Minnesota in December, and he was a 2016 second-round pick. And he scored his first goal against the Flyers in 2021-2022. How about that? How about them apples? He's 6'2". He's a winger. I don't know. It's an interesting trade. Let's see if anybody put out any thoughts on this move. Let's see. Broad Street Hockey. Not there. assuming that a major trade is not on the horizon, the Flyers could simply be looking to add depth, of course. While the Flyers remain within striking distance of a playoff spot, they could just pivot and sell. That means that having some extra bodies around could help the club finish the season, blah, blah, blah. So it's reasonable to think that Tkachuk could get a look at some point this season. Again, the likeliest outcome is that he heads to the AHL, but should the Flyers need additional... Okay, so it's a depth trade, pretty much. Which, like, I like the prospect of it, and I saw a lot of people excited about it. But remains to be seen what will come of the Boris Tkachuk signing there. But Danny Briere making moves. And you all should be making moves too with our friends at Biñho. Guys, Biñho is the next big tabletop game for your man cave, your she shed, your parties, your tailgates, what have you. You break out the Biñho board, you are going to be the talk of your event. It's paper football meets foosball for the next big tabletop flicking experience. You guys can use our link in the description to shop with Biñho. That way they know you are coming from us. And check out the Biñho Classic Green Turf. They've got the Green Turf Stripes, the Black Classic board. The Diamond Stripes edition is back in stock. The Circle Stripes are back in stock. They've got officially licensed boards with Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, Barcelona. They've got some awesome... they got a camouflage board. They got the Red Python skin board, PSG, the Philadelphia Union. And you can customize your boards, too. They've got awesome customization accessories for your boards, from the bands that go around the board to make your board look super sick. They've got customizable players, goals, different balls you can use as well. Use our link in the description. Shop with Biñho, and when you go to checkout, use code BiñhoBennett62. It's code BiñhoBennett62 to get free shipping. Not even free shipping. Excuse me. I was looking at the wrong ad. Use code BiñhoBennett62 to get 10% off your entire order from our friends at Biñho. Again, code BiñhoBennett62 to get 10% off your next order from our friends at Biñho. And we thank Biñho for being a proud partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia. Also want to round out the show talking to you guys about our friends over at Kenwood Beer, the official beer partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia. It's a refreshing light beer, just 4.1% ABV, 120 calories, just 8 grams of carbs. You guys can go to kenwoodbeer.com, use the Kenny Finder to see who's got Kenwood Beer on tap in the Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Maryland, Delaware, and New Jersey areas. You can also find Kenwood Beer at your local liquor stores in those markets. Get your Citywide U hoodie available on their website. Plus, they just got the new Kenwood Beer hats in stock as well. KenwoodBeer.com. Must be 21 or older to do so. And as always, guys, please drink responsibly. That is all I've got for you guys on this one. Fun episode. Make sure you guys are following us on the socials at Underground PHI across the board. We're on every social platform, so please follow us. Subscribe to the pod, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Leave a 5-star rating and review. Goes a long way for helping the show continue to grow. Subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. Leave a like on the video, drop a comment in the comment section, and click that bell icon so you know whenever new videos go live. If you or someone you know is looking to talk Philly sports on a somewhat regular basis and you want a platform to talk about them, slide in my DMs, because I am low-key looking for a co-host for at least one of the episodes a week. It can get boring talking by yourself to a degree, and I like having people to bounce things off of, even if it's in a guest role spot and you're just coming on here and there to talk some sports. I would love to hear from you. Slide in my DMs, KBIZZL311 on Twitter, and let me know. I would love, and tag your favorite creators and podcasters and everything that you want to hear as guests. I want to start working some guests onto the midweek episodes for you guys because I think that would be a lot of fun, especially going into the summer and such. So let me know. Let me know. And as you all know, this show is proudly presented by the city of Vineland, and the city of Vineland is my hometown, guys. And guess what? Whether you're a company looking to expand, relocate, or you're a new business startup, selecting the right location is critical to your success. Vineland, New Jersey offers both an affordable business location and an excellent quality of life. The city's economic development department is a one-stop source for moving your project through the development and approval process. And their goal is to make this process as smooth as possible and to provide the fastest turnaround times in the region. If you are considering potential locations for your operation, contact the Vineland Economic Development Team at 856-794-4100. That's 856-794-4100. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. And big thank you to Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated for their continued support of this podcast. This has been episode number 825 of Underground Sports Philadelphia with new lighting that hopefully reflects well on the video, because what I'm looking at right now looks great, and I'm hoping it looks great for you guys. Let me know what you think. If you can tell a difference in the lighting in the studio, I would love feedback. And I know we're working on potentially upgrading the cameras here in the studio as well. But this has been episode number 825 of Underground Sports Philadelphia. I'm your boy KB. I will see you back here on Thursday. I don't know exactly when I'm recording it. Hopefully Wednesday, probably Wednesday afternoon, because I will be down at Premier Lacrosse League Championship Series Thursday through Sunday. So going to be a lot of fun. Stay tuned for the live content there. Working on getting some interviews for OTB and maybe this show as well with some Philly connections, PLL, WLL. It's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to being back down at Champ Series outside of the DC area. But I'll see you all on Thursday with whatever the heck comes across the docket, maybe with a guest, who knows. But until our next episode, ladies and gentlemen, I am getting the heck up out of here, and I'm signing off. Peace.